Archaeological evidence suggests that horses were domesticated in Western Europe as a byproduct of the Danube migration as early as 2500 BC. Within 500 years, remains of domestic horses were found all over Europe. The bronze economy of 19th century BC caused man to be reliant on horses for the transportation of metals and valuables. This resulted in extensive use of horse-drawn carts and an economic reliance on horses in Northern Europe. In the Middle Ages, Muslims, Vikings, and Slavic cultures all bred horses that were specialized to fulfill the culture's needs, as well as a symbol of status for the horse's owners. They were the tools of civilization, not only transporting people and goods across large land masses, but farming fields to feed communities and in battle for conquering other tribes and nations. If you're following along with our Season 1 channel, then you know that we are currently in Austria, and there are 4 horse breeds that originated from this great country. Let's talk about them now. Like many warm bloods, the Austrian Warmblood is ideally suited with its beauty and athleticism for dressage, show jumping, and eventing, hence my subject matter for my drawing here. With roots tracing back to the 18th century Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Austrian Warmblood was bred as a cavalry horse, and later refined with Arabian and thoroughbred influences in the 19th century. The goal of the breed was to produce a horse that could service a whole nation, as farm horses for the commoners, riding and carriage horses for nobility, and as mounts and artillery horses for the military. Today's stud book for the breed documents around 2,500 mares and 80 stallions registered. In order to continuously improve this breed, Austrian Warmbloods are allowed to be crossed with a variety of other sport warmbloods, as well as with additional athletic breeds. Because of this extensive crossbreeding, Austrian Warmbloods have the same athletic conformation that is seen in other sport warmbloods, which consists of a long neck, prominent withers, a long back, and long legs. The Austrian stud book accepts horses of all colors, but the most common ones are going to be bay, brown, black, chestnut, and gray. However, you can see cream dilutes and pintos as well as any other color in this registry. The average height of an Austrian Warmblood is 15.2 to 16.2 hands tall, and that's going to be approximately 62 to 66 inches from ground to shoulder. Some Austrian Warmblood celebrities that you might recognize include Olympic competitors Amanita, a grey mare born in 1995 that competed in show jumping for Poland, and Westminster, a bay mare born in 1997 that competed in show jumping for Italy, as well as Laredo, a chestnut gelding born in 1994 that competed in dressage's big tour under a German rider. The Haflinger's roots in Austria run deeper than its warm-blood cousins. This breed of horse, found in the southern Tyrolean mountains, which is in Austria and northern Italy of today, can trace its lineage back to medieval times. These horses may have been a primary source of shaping the human migration in the Danube migration mentioned earlier. Many of the villages and farms in their area were accessible only by narrow paths. These challenging mountainous paths required the assistance of light, agile, and sure-footed horses like the Haflinger for travel and packing of supplies. While the breed owes its name to the Hafling region, it wasn't until much later that the name Haflinger was used to describe this subsect of horse. In fact, a Haflinger stallion born in 1874, named 249 Foley, became the foundation of the official breed, with all modern Haflingers tracing their ancestry to him. By 1898, the breed was officially recognized and named by the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The progress of the breed took a heavy blow when most of the horses were conscripted for use in the army during World War I. Today's Haflinger registry is based on 7 foundation bloodlines, and the breed makes appearances all over the world, easily recognizable for their chestnut bodies and flaxen mane and tails. The Haflinger is popular amongst enthusiasts for their strong character, good disposition, and eagerness to please. I am always happy to see a Haflinger, as they remind me of my very first horse, a miniature horse named Candy. With her chestnut coat, flaxen mane and tail, and a blaze, I think it's easy to see why this breed, albeit bigger than Candy, reminds me of her. Haflingers are well-muscled, yet elegant. They range in height from 13 to 15 hands tall and weigh between 800 and 1,200 pounds. Haflingers are known for their ability to navigate difficult terrain and their low maintenance needs. They're commonly used for driving, which is why I chose that for my subject matter. And while you might not see them competing at the Olympics, a Haflinger horse named Prometea, born in 2003, made news as the first cloned horse. She was bred by Italian scientists. Like the Haflinger, the Noriker breeding traces back to South Tyrol, and its lineage is even intertwined with the Haflinger. The breed inherited its name from its origins of the Roman province, Noricum, which is now Salzburg, Austria. Unlike the Haflinger, the Noriker comes in many different shades and patterns, from your standard base colors like black, chestnut, and bay, to more colorful alternatives like roan, pinto, and Appaloosa, which I chose for my drawing here. Masters of terrain, this sure-footed, medium-heavy mountain draft horse is well suited for riding and carriage work. Historically significant in the transportation of heavy goods and large loads, the Noriker is still used in modern times for physically demanding tasks such as forestry. They are the ideal tool for logging in ecologically sensitive areas. This large and powerful Austrian draft horse breed was developed around 2,000 years ago and is a cross between Roman draft horses and local Celt horses. In Bavaria, the Noriker is also known as the South German cold-blooded horse. As one of the oldest draft horse breeds in Europe, the Noriker is particularly known for not only logging, but also plowing and transporting goods. They're known as good riding horses for leisure riding, excellent carriage drivers, and are used for demonstrations of historical techniques. They're also still used in traditional cattle drives and festive processions. The average Noriker height is 15.2 to 16 hands tall. Stallions should have a cannon bone circumference of 23 to 25 centimeters, or around 9 inches or more, and a chest girth of 205 to 215 centimeters, which is 80 to 84 inches. The most popular Noriker line is probably the Vulcan. More than half of all Noriker horses alive today are part of the Vulcan line. The other 4 popular lines in the breeding program are Nero, Diamant, Scharnitz, and Elmar. The Vulcan line was founded by the brown stallion Vulcan 635, born in Pinzgau in 1887. The Nero line became more influential than the Diamant line after 1950. The Diamant line started well into the early 20th century. The Scharnitz line was founded by the stallion Amor in 1888. And last but not least, the Elmar line. This line was founded by the stallion 80 Arnulf 55 in 1896. The Noriker horses are bred mainly for their temperament, intelligence, and strength, making them ideal for light draft work or recreational activities. Last but certainly not least amongst Austria's native horses is the world-renowned Lippizaner horse. This breed traces its roots back to the 1500s with the Spanish occupation by the Moors from the early 8th century until the fall of Granada in 1492. Thanks to Moorish influence, the stout Iberian horses of Spain were crossed on the Moorish Arabic horses, producing a horse that excelled in the areas of both elegance and strength. These traits made these horses particularly advantageous to the demanding skills of classical horsemanship. In the late 16th century, Karl Franz, a Habsburg archduke, started his own breeding program for this Spanish horse. The location of this farm? On an area that in modern days is part of Slovenia, but back then was near Lippiza. I think you can see where I'm going with this. The stud farm in Lippiza was home to the Lippizaner horse for more than 300 years, supplying horses to the court in Vienna. Nowadays, the main breeding farm is situated in Piber, and the colts that are born there are provided to the Spanish riding school in Vienna, where they live, train, and awe audiences from around the world with their performances and airs above the ground maneuvers. In the world of advanced horsemanship and higher-level classical dressage, a few maneuvers rise above them all. These maneuvers are known as airs above the ground, and they include movements like the capriole, the courbette, which I featured in my drawing here, and the levade, as just a few examples. While none of these are typically seen in modern competitive dressage, they are performed by horses of various riding academies, including the Spanish Riding School in Vienna with their famous Lippizaner stallions. These iconic horses are born dark, but very few remain so. Most of this breed is easily recognized by its famous white coat. Cited as the oldest purebred breed of horse in mainland Europe, the Lippizaner breed traces its line back to 6 foundation stallions and 18 mare family lines. Cited as being a Baroque style of horse, this powerful breed is slow to mature and long-lived. In addition to dressage, they can also be used for driving, jumping, and other equestrian activities. The Lippizaner horse stands on average between 14.2 and 15.2 hands tall. However, horses bred to be closer to the original carriage horse type are taller, approaching 16.1 hands tall. You can see the Lippizaners perform in Vienna on your next visit.